Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of the LUMUN and training platform. My name is Umaimah Sajid.
And Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Rafay Salman and we're both members of the Lumen Society.
So today we are here to talk about a very key element of the rules of procedures of any and every MUN. That is the general speakers list. So Rafay, take it away.
Okay, so great. Before I start with the slideshow, I'd just like to mention how the Lumen Society YouTube channel already has a video on how to deliver introductory or GSL speeches. So if you're more interested in how to speak and what to speak in the GSL, please go ahead and watch that video as well. This video is generally going to be about what the GSL is as a whole and how it works, right? So I'll start with what the purpose of the general speakers list should and could be, right? So the first is obviously that every delegate should know that this is their first opportunity to address the committee usually. And so it's a key way to create a first impression that lasts, right? Your chair should know that you have a clear stance so that he or she knows that you have a clear grasp of your knowledge, right? And co-delegates should feel that your stance is clear so that they're able to form alliances with you. They're able to see whether they have differing or aligning opinions with you, right? So a clear stance is very important, and a clear stance has another key element. You should propose clear and convincing solutions, and a lot of delegates use this opportunity to propose frameworks which are a set of solutions. When you bring solutions to the table, it means that there's something that you're already contributing to the committee, and it's a great idea to end your GSL with a certain set of frameworks, right? With that, I like to finally mention how the GSL could be used to create and to give direction to the committee. Now, the GSL possibly will and could repeat on the second or the third days, right? And when it does, a delegate could use it as a way to give direction to the committee. Now, the delegate could use it in a way to further the problems that he feels should be discussed or build consensus on his own solutions and take the committee forward. And it's a great way to use the GSL that way, right? With that, Umaima, would you like to carry on?
Sure. So let's talk about how you establish the GSL. It is to know that you only establish the GSL on the very first day and on the very first session of your committee proceedings. After that, you only revert back to the GSL and not establish the GSL. So, for example, I'm in my respective committee and I am the delegate of Pakistan. When the chair asks, are there any points or motions on the floor? I raise my placard, and if I do get recognized, I raise a motion to establish the general speakers list. When I do so, the chair would also ask me to give my time parameters. It is to know that we only have individual speaker time in the GSL and not a holistic time, right? So the individual time parameters can range from 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute, 30 seconds, whatever I feel comfortable with. And if my then the chair would go on to voting procedure. If my motion gets voted upon, it gets passed upon, then I would automatically be the very first speaker on the general speakers list, right? After that, the last point, how to add other countries to the GSL. So since I'm the delegate of Pakistan, I'll automatically be there on the GSL. However, other countries who are present in the committee can do so by two ways, right? Number first, they could do so by raising their placard. When they raise their placard, so the chair has the liberty to recognize anyone in the committee, and the chair would then say to lower your placards. And if there's substantial amount of people on the general speakers list, the chair would automatically go and begin with the delegate of Pakistan, who is recognized as the very first speaker, and then would gradually move on to other speakers. Another way of adding your name to the GSL is if you've already spoken once, you can write a check to your chair, and this is the way you could also add your name in the GSL. So Rafi, would you like to add something to it?
No, I think you covered it perfectly.
Okay, let's move on and talk about how to yield.
Okay, so great. I'll take it on from here. There's a great amount of misconception when it comes to yield. A lot of delegates, first timers for sure, and a lot of even experienced munners actually find difficulty in either remembering or understanding how the yields work, right? So I'll explain what a yield is through an example. Say I'm the delegate of Belarus and I have the general speaker's time of 1 minute 30 seconds allotted as it is for everyone for say in this example, right? And I only speak for 1 minute and 10 seconds. That means that I have a remainder of 20 seconds that I need to spend in some way or the other. Since I'm not speaking, I can only yield my time. And how do I yield my time? Well, there's three ways. So the first is that you yield your time back to the chair or the dais, in which there's going to be no questions and the chair would now move on to the next person on the GSL to deliver their speech, right? Then there's a second way. There's a yield to questions. When a delegate signals that he wishes to yield to questions, the chair asks the co-delegates to raise their placards if they wish to ask any questions. And then the chair is the one who selects a delegate to ask the question. Once the question is asked, the original delegate who had yielded his or her time gets the remainder of his time to answer their questions. Now, there's a good point to note that there can't be more than one yield per speech. So if a delegate's given a yield, they can't yield it back to another delegate, right? And that brings us to our last yield, which is a yield to another delegate. So the delegate would signal that, say, the delegate of China would like to yield their time to the delegate of Pakistan. And the delegate of Pakistan would then have a choice on whether he wishes to accept or reject the yield. The chair will always ask if the delegate wishes to accept or not. So with that, we'll move on to the next slide. If Umaimah, do you want to add something to the yields?
Just one point to add over here, that yields are only limited to the general speakers list, and there are no yields in the moderated caucus or other debate procedures within the committee. So I think
Okay,
that's
great.
it. Let's
Yeah,
move
let's
forward.
move on to these there are features of the GSL that we feel that everyone should know. It's a great way to understand the GSL, to build up the confidence to have a good MUN for the whole 3-4 days. So Mema, would you like to start this off?
Yeah, sure. So firstly, it is to know that the GSL does not exhaust. It is there for the entirety of the proceedings of your committee for however days you are within the committee, 3 or 4 days. So the GSL does not exhaust. It means that you only revert back to the GSL. You do not establish the GSL from the very start. So for example, on the first day, the delegate of Pakistan was the last speaker on the general speakers list, but there were 5 or 10 more speakers on the list who were not recognized. So on the next day, when you begin with committee proceedings and is when GSL resumes back, so the delegate who was next to Pakistan, for example, delegate of Ukraine was next. So he or she will get the chance to speak after and automatically will be recognized, since there would be no motion to establish the GSL. The next speaker would automatically be recognized. And I think that also covers my second point, that there are no motions to revert back to the GSL. Rafay, would you like to add something?
Yeah, as Mema said, there is no motion to revert back to the GSL. Usually, in almost every MUN that you go to, you always find a delegate who would like to motion to revert back to the GSL, because either they haven't gotten a chance to speak in the GSL, or they wish to speak on a more general note, or feel that no more will be passed. But as Umaima said, there is no such motion. But the GSL can be reverted to by one way and one way alone, and that is if all other motions at the current time fail. So, for example, if Finland motions for a moderated caucus, Lithuania motions for an unmoderated caucus, and say China motions for a consultation of a whole. If all three motions fail, the committee would automatically revert back to the GSL. And as Umaima already mentioned, since the GSL does not exhaust, there's always members on the GSL who are ready to speak. And that brings us to the conclusion of our video today. We hope that was really helpful for you. And just want to say that a perfect GSL is a great way to create a great and lasting impact on the committee for your co-delegates and the dais. So, Mema, would you like to add something?
I don't think so, but I completely agree with what you said. I just want to add that I believe that this video was helpful for all of you, and we're looking forward to seeing you at Lumen.
So with that, I just like to conclude finally by just saying that we hope that you like the Lumen Facebook page, follow the Lumen Twitter handle, and please do subscribe to the Lumen Society YouTube channel. That's where we post all our Lumen training platform videos. So We hope that this video was helpful, and thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.